Hello, welcome back. We're having a resurgence of winter today, so my furnace is on, so I have to kind of speak up here. We are working again on this 401. What we found out yesterday was that there was cavitation from using the wrong kind of coolant, and that drilled a hole right through the cylinder liner. So on these machines, these Deere, 3 and 400 series engines, that is real common. Now, that's not intrinsic to the design of the machine. The machine is well designed and well built. What I've run into is on every one of these that I've touched, someone has just had the wrong coolant in there. Ethylene glycol, and you're supposed to have SCA coolant. That SCA additive, I believe, is a silicone type additive. Anyway, it keeps that cavitation from happening. So I have the engine block is draining. I disconnected that hose, drain the coolant out of the block as much as I can, and I have the coolant draining out of the radiator as much as I can. But there is not not as much coolant that's in those buckets as there is in this block. I'm not going to get all the coolant out. I'll worry about that in a little bit. Anyway, what we're going to do right now is we're going to take off this muffler. I believe we have to take off the thermostat housing. The thermostat housing was leaking anyway, so that's a good thing. We got to take that off. We have to take off the, can't get my hand in there, the coolant temperature sender right there. And over here on the other side, we have to take off the fuel pump. Now the fuel pump is just on there with these two bolts right here. Can you see them? Get you around there. Right here. Where are you at? Where's my hand? There it is. Right here is where those two bolts are. So we just have to take those two bolts out, pull the, let the fuel pump kind of move over toward me a little bit, and then that'll be clear of the head. This vent line from the oil cooler reservoir, I may remove that too. In fact, there's a clip right here that's holding that in place. Does that just come out? Yeah, that just comes out. So I don't know if I'm going to remove that. Sorry. I don't know if I'm going to remove this hose, this line or not. I may just be able to get away with kind of pushing it over to the side. I think I'm going to take this off because it's definitely going to be in my way. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to pull the head off, and then we're going to crawl underneath and get the pistons and stuff out and see what we got going on. All right. Just about every fastener on this thing is either 1/2 or 9/16. So a good thing to bust those out up front. So I'm using my air ratchet at the moment to get this muffler off. So that means my compressor is probably going to have something to say about it pretty soon. But here goes. Oh, how about I turn it the right way? Can I get it? The hose is not letting me get it in there. Come on. I try to keep the fasteners together as much as I can. That is annoying. I hate the sound of air leaking. It just bothers me. Reaching over this loader is a bit clumsy. You hit the bottom of this with a little penetrant. We may have to come back to this in a minute. See if I can't convince it to come loose. All right, I'm causing dents over here. So I'm going to move on to something else at the moment. So how about that fuel pump? Oh, those are tight. Now I've got myself into situations with these wrenches where the clearance is tight, where if I'm backing out a bolt and I hit, like there's something like here, where I can back it out to the point where the bolt can't come out and I can't get the wrench out. That's a tough situation to be in. That's when you have to bust out the torch or the die grinder or something. Something's going to come apart. And this was starting to be one of those situations. See, the bolt doesn't even, oh, the bolt did come out. So that's all we got to do for the fuel pump. Just simply move it aside. Like these are the original clamps over here, I'm sure. They're just old. Whoop, there goes a wrench. Man down. There. All right, I'll get this guy out of the way. Now, since I took off that air hose, the airline intake, I'm gonna stuff a rag in the hole. And if a piece of debris gets stuck in there, it could get hung up in one of the valves. So let's just plug that up. Lovely, lovely. I'm gonna get this wrench off of here for now. I don't want to bend the, oh, there it goes. All right. Looks good there. I don't see any issues. So let's grab the impact and get those off of there. Okay. My hose got stuck. There we go. And we'll take the exhaust manifold off. And hopefully, we won't break any. So far, so good. Last one. Did I get it? Yay! All right. Okay, definitely loose. I wasn't going to take this fitting off, but since this one was giving me problems, I thought, what the heck? Let's just take it off. Oops. Set that over there for now. Let it drip. All right, let's get that sender, temperature sender out of there. I think I have a flange nut wrench for that. 11/16. Okay, now I don't have a great angle on that, so I'm going to stack a wrench on top of it. There we go. Nice. Get that sender out of there. All right. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So let me come around there and get a look at that hose from the oil tank. See what I can do. Oh, I can just kind of pull it over here. I'm going to just hold this over here with a couple of zip ties because it is out of the way. All right, just pull this right over here. I'm just holding it to the cylinder for the boom, and the fuel pump is staying out of the way too. Oh, sorry, I just bonked my microphone on something. Oh, here's one thing I often forget, but it would be nice to not forget. These caps. These caps come off. I have lost so many of these because they come off and they hit the ground and I can't find them. It's a drag. We're just going to break the torque a little bit at a time. Okay, now I think we're about there. Yeah. All right. Did I get this one? Yes. So we're going to use the impact to get the rest of those out. Oh, we never got that one. Let's get that one. Didn't get it because I can't see it from over here. There we go. I try not to do that. I try to break the torque on them all first, but things happen. All right, one more. There we are. See, all my paper towels are coming off. No, there's more than one. Okay, let's get those bolts out of there, take that cylinder head off. Nah. All right, come around the other side. Trying to get the washer with the bolt. I have been successful up until this point. Oh, there goes my zip tie. Yep, I'm gonna have to put that zip tie back on there again. This one. Okay, that head is ready to come off. So we're gonna give her a little encouragement. Look at all that coolant that's coming out. I didn't do a very good job of draining this block at all. Oh, there's one more bolt in there. Let me get that guy out of the way. Bunch of coolant came out. So, let's see, I don't see any good place to give it some encouragement from this side. So, let's see if we can, there we go. Boy, that is heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. All right, let's see. How am I going to get this off of here? Oof. Wow. You know what, I am going to get my engine hoist. This thing is just too heavy to try to manage. So I wonder, was John Deere a real person? I mean, was there a person named Jonathan W. Deere? I don't know about the W. I don't know about any of it, obviously. All right, let's get this thing I probably could do this by hand, but I'd really rather not trash my back doing it, you know what I mean? All right, so this was just my rig. I used my hoist and a chain and a couple of bolts through that chain. I think it's always best to use chain if you at all can. I mean, I know there's lots of straps around there and they're cheap and easy to use and all this, but I have caused injury to myself using a strap across something that had a sharp edge, and it cut the strap and chopped off the end of my finger. Yeah, they were able to sew most of it back on, but that's something I'd rather, you know, not do again. All right, so here's the head. Let's flip it over. See what we got here. Yeah. Well, that looks pretty good. So we'll get, hold on. Stay there. Don't go anywhere, okay? Let's get a paper towel here. We can wipe down that. All right. So here's the head, and that's a little, oh, that's because I was setting it on the radiator. A little bit of copper sort of residue right here. I did have it setting on top of the radiator because this head is actually a little too heavy for me to carry. Well, it looks real good. I'm not seeing any, I mean, the valves are recessed in the same way. I'm not seeing any cracks like in this area, you know, in the lands in between these two. That's a common place for cracking. I'm not seeing any galling or anything like that. This right here, I believe that's a coolant passage, so this passage is often rusty. We'll just clean that out. That's not a big problem. So over here, that's where that rust was coming from. I thought that was coolant, but maybe it's not. That's just a locating pin. Okay. Things are looking real good here too. Let me get this, find a place for you to sit, where you won't fall over. There you go. Now, see if I can get that head gasket off. I mean, I know it's really not an if thing. That head gasket is coming off for sure. Let's see. Let me get something a little bit skinnier in there. What did I do with my, there we go, little putty knife, little scraper. There's some gick on that one. Why do I have gick there? This was common with some of the others I worked on too. These pins were just rusty, I think. Just rusty. And they do come out. If they're bad, we can replace them. Oh, got hung up on there again. All right, let me get too excited about. Well, everything looks good up here, so I think what's next is we crawl underneath. Yeah, it looks okay. So this is the one that had the leaks, had the cavitation. Okay. Well, all those are coming out, so there's no point in being too careful about it. Yep, that looks good. All right, stay tuned.